Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome back to the channel. Oh, we've had utter chaos, but we are now here. We're going to do one of these. Are you ready? Yay! We're in conversation with ourselves today, and a guest joining us at
I know who it is.
7:45. At 7, I know who it is too. Yeah, at 7:45, we've got a guest on, a very important guest, because this guest is a new member of the band. Don't you know? Emma's frozen.
Oh, have
We've
I?
just got a still image of her
can hear me.
forehead.
And I can see me.
Yeah, you've completely broken up, something's going on your end.
Oh.
No, I'm gonna have to just wait until you fix that. Oh, hang on, it looks like she's back.
She never went
Oh,
anywhere.
there you go.
I just moved my hat around. Is that it? Is
Oh,
that
no.
fixed it?
Oh, there you go. I think you're better now. Yeah, you got a bit of a thing about the hat going on this week, haven't we? We did. Let's talk about
First
of all
let's
gigs.
talk
Right,
about that.
we've
Let's
got a
take the
bunch
hat
of
off for
gigs
now.
coming up. Some really.
There we go. Take the hat off for now. What's going on with this?
Emma, you're disappearing for like a minute at a time, and then just coming back doing something completely different.
Oh.
Okay, right, there you go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send Emma a message and make her aware of how bad the connection is. Right, so we've got lots of connections. Lots of announcements that we need to make. And first and foremost, gigs. So we've got a whole bunch of gigs coming up. Some really, really big ones. One of the biggest things that we've got coming up actually is a gig next weekend at in London at the Buck and Bull, which tickets are still available for. I'm not sure how many are left now, but yeah, tickets are looking like they're selling out pretty fast for that one. Next Saturday, that's going to be in London, the Buck and Bull. That venue is. Really, really looking forward to that. It's the first time the Westlands have ventured down into London. We've just come off the back of an acoustic show that we played at the Fox in Birmingham, which was an acoustic show, which was really fun. We had a great time with that. We'll talk about all these a little bit more when I get Emma back on this stream somehow. But yeah, it was a really, really fun gig. And the weekend before that, where was we the weekend before that? My brain eludes me. Oh yeah, we were at FemFest, which was an experience for me, that is for sure. We'll talk about that with Emma in just a second. Not sure where she's gone. She's vanished. She's left me all on my own. If you're watching this, come and keep me company. We've got a big announcement to make in regards to a new band member. We did kind of just tease it out the other day. Oh, hang on a minute. I can see a face appear in the bottom of my screen.
Hello.
Have we got you back?
I don't know. I haven't done anything.
Right. Okay. You are moving smoothly now. Just give me one of these. Like a. Oh yeah, all the jitters have gone. There you go.
Hey.
That was quite good.
Thank you.
I was just telling the viewers that we've just come off the back of an acoustic gig at the Fox. Where we played an acoustic show. That was a fun night, wasn't it?
It was a really good night, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's one of the smallest stages I've ever played on. One of the audience members described it less of a stage and more of a step.
I think that's probably an accurate description.
Great show, though. Another example of why sometimes doing some of the smaller shows are so good for you as a band, because honestly, that was as good a night, a gig, as I can remember. It was just so much fun, and obviously we had quite a bit of drinking going on because we had the Ashes game, I think, at Edgbaston.
Yeah, that was Edgbaston.
Yeah, so there was a few rowdy guests in there.
They soon got told to calm down, didn't they?
Yeah, they did get told to calm down. Steve nearly told them. I did tell him I could say no in more than one language.
Yes.
That was as tetchy as I got with that. When people are trying to, you've just set up, it's clearly your own equipment, right? And the first thing a drunk person wants to do is, can I get up on stage and sing? No.
No.
Unless you want to replace all my gear when you finish spilling your beer all over it. Oh, God. Why do they do that? It's so annoying, isn't it?
Swiftly followed by, do you know Sweet Caroline? No, I don't. No, I don't.
No, we got asked to play Little Lion
Little
Man
Lion Man by Mumford and Sons.
about 100 times.
I do like the song.
It's not a bad song, but we just didn't learn it. And
Didn't bring my banjo.
and unfortunately, I'd already learned about 8 songs that day.
That was one of the most panicked rehearsals I think we've ever had.
Oh, hang on a minute. We've just had a message.
Oh, who from? Saying what? Don't keep us in suspense.
I've just had a message from Gareth to say that he's ready.
Oh,
Before Gareth jumps on, I was just saying that we've got our first show in London. We're playing at the Buck and Ball. Tickets selling fast for that one. Really excited about that gig. The lineup looks so good, and the venue looks incredible. So if you're into country music and you're not there, what are you doing with yourself?
Get yourselves to London. It's just down the road.
Just down the road. We've got artists coming from all the way up in Glasgow. So if they can make it down, I'm sure you can too. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, guitar axe shredding extraordinaire. You know, if he messes up after the big build up, like if he just totally tits up one of his solos on the first gig, that's it. It's game over. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Gareth.
Hello.
Hello. All right, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yourselves?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Very good. Very good.
Good.
We've had some technical difficulties as per always.
Standard, isn't it? It's normally what happens, right, with these things.
Yeah.
Well, we were just discussing, Gareth, the fact that we've got some very big gigs coming up, and these gigs would be high pressured just on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But you've had the added pressure of having to learn the entire set in about 2 weeks.
Yes.
So, right, let's explain to people a little bit how we all know each other. So I work with Gareth. We worked together previously. He was having to think about that then. Do you see?
Well, no, not that. I'm thinking. I think we've known each other probably for about 6 years, actually. Just thinking about it. Yeah.
It's been a while now. And Emma and Gareth knew each other originally because
we've known each other for 10 years.
We have.
All right, it's not a competition.
Well, I won.
Emma's 2 longest lasting relationships, both with men.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting observation, that, Steve.
Such a failure.
And she makes such a great wifey as well. Every time we go up there to do some writing or recording, there's a sausage sandwich waiting, cup of coffee. It's brilliant.
There you go.
I ain't gonna lie, it's
Can't
good
go
service. But so Gareth and Emma, you knew each other because you were playing in a metal band together. I was off playing in a metal band as well. So we're all metalheads. How the hell did we all wind up in a country band?
I think it's fair to say that we wore Gaz down.
How long did it take? What was it? What's the time frame on it?
It's been, 18 months?
It's since day one.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yep, it's been a while.
It's a bit different for you guys. So obviously we've got some heavier songs in our set, which you can freely shred away at. But then there's going to be other songs where you've got to rein in that inner metalhead a little bit. So how have you found that transition so far?
It's all right, you know. At the end of the day, it's what's right for the song, and that has to be what's first and foremost. And you know, everyone draws inspirations from different places when they start out playing and stuff, and that manifests itself over years and years for the time that you've been playing. So it's like, you know, a couple of the songs that we've got are a bit more ballad in their nature. It's no good if he's sort of shredding over that. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It becomes daft. You know what I mean? It becomes a bit of a farce. So you do just have to rein it in, and it's the right thing to do. And to be honest with you, it's kind of nice from a creative perspective to just kind of sit in the background a little bit and just, you know, hit a few more sort of nuanced notes that kind of lend itself more to the backdrop of what's going on. Because really, what's in the story of the song is the message that's coming through the vocals, particularly with ballads. That's normally the way that it works. So what you do has to be the right dynamic for the particular song, and it's for me, it's about striking that right balance, I guess, just from a personal perspective. And that's probably why it's taken sort of 18 months to kind of sort of drag me on board, because country is not my thing. You guys know this,
Yep.
it's country is not my thing.
It is infectious, though. We will get you. You will start to enjoy it.
I don't know. I'm enjoying what's happening so far, but again, I think it's because you've got that element of it, which is that kind of harder edge stuff, which which is fundamentally where my roots are based. So I can really enjoy that. So it kind of that sort of exacerbates the enjoyment when you've got songs which are a bit more laid back. They're pulled back slightly because they're more acoustically based, let's say.
Gives those fingers a rest.
It does, but it allows, from my perspective, as a listener, not necessarily a performer, but as a listener, it gives the audience a bit of respite, and it gives you a bit of light and shade in what's going on within the set. So from a performance perspective, it makes me think, okay, so if we're doing songs that are a bit more sort of rocked up, I'm going to really sort of let rip on this and just proper shred over it, because I know the next two songs are much more laid back and a bit more calm, So it gives you a bit more artistic scope to be able to just cut loose a little bit more. And that's why your first sort of 2 or 3 songs of a set just proper kind of kick the audience in the face. That's what you want. You need that kind of thing,
Yeah, they do.
Because then you just pull things back slightly.
Yeah, our set at the moment kind of goes smash you in the face, as you just said.
Yeah,
and then it kind of mellows out in the middle a little bit, and then it ramps back up towards the back end.
Yeah.
One of the reasons for the viewers, we may as well let people know this, because this is the future of the band the way we see it. Me and Emma always had a bit of a dilemma with this band, where we love making some of the softer songs and we love making the ballads because they're the storytelling songs that we all know for country and country rock. But I listen to bands like the Brothers Osborne. These are bands we're going to introduce you to more often, Gareth. So bands like the Brothers Osborne, they've got some brilliant sort of slower country-based songs, but they've got some songs as well where that man just shreds.
Yeah,
huge. I mean, it's a different style of playing, but he's still shredding the life out of that guitar. There's a song got Emma we both love, don't we? Stay a Little Longer.
Yeah,
it's like it's like a 6-minute solo in that song, and it's like huge. When we saw him play it live, it literally was like 6 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's so lyrical. The guitar solos are so lyrical.
Yeah, they're almost telling a story of their own, aren't they? But then I also really like the likes of who we based some of our previous songs that we did with Mike on, which are people like the Cadillac 3, who are very almost like it's more of a redneck rock kind of sound. That's how
the name of the album, I think, right there.
Yeah,
redneck rock.
Yeah, well, I think one of their albums was called Country Fuzz, and he kind of said that people were describing it a cross between sort of like Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne, and country music, and then they just kind of went, you know what? Yeah, let's go with that. And because me and Emma are both from metal backgrounds, we do like to rock out a little bit, but we want to keep those country elements. So a lot of the stuff that we're going to start creating going forward is probably going to have a little bit. You're probably going to hear some more influences from the likes of Blackstone Cherry, who are a southern rock band. You're probably going to hear influences from the likes of, your Luke Combs. Still, you're going to hear those kind of influences with the big, slower, ballady solos.
I mean, if you listen to Nickelback's latest album, that's kind of country rock. I mean, they're headlining some Canadian country music award, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yeah, we were told about that. The Canadian people were rather baffled by it. But what's going on here? On Facebook, for some reason, guys, I don't know why it's doing it, but it's not doing it on YouTube. You might have to keep refreshing your page. For some reason, the live stream keeps going down and then coming back on again, but it's working fine on YouTube. So we're going to do, and also me and Emma was kind of battling with this decision of, could we do heavier country? And then we've spoke about this before. Then we found Hardy.
Oh.
And then we found Hardy, and then we was just like,
everything changed.
We feel like we were vindicated, and that was when we heard what, because we had an idea of what we wanted to make after making those heavier songs, which you obviously enjoy in the set. We heard them songs. It was like, should we be making more stuff like this? And will that still be considered country? We don't want to lose our country fans, but we would like to also bring in some of the rock fans and introduce them to country and introduce country to rock, etc. Could we blend the two together? And then we heard a song called Mockingbird and the Crow.
Yeah.
By Hardy, and then we listened to his whole album, and we were just like, okay, this guy's doing it.
Yeah.
And he just won, like, he was winning awards at the Country Music Awards, Academy Awards. So it can obviously be done. We'd be interested to hear what the viewers think. But we did put a little snippet out of you shredding like a crazy person in our practice the other day, didn't we? It's been good. What would you say, just for our listeners, Gareth? Who are your guitar influences? Because they'll probably hear this when you start playing, I would imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Zakk Wylde, players like that. Andy James. Those are the sort of guitar players that. I mean, the reason why I started playing guitar is because I heard the Surfing with the Alien album by Joe Satriani. That's what made me want to pick up and play. And the first ever live performance that I actually did was at my college Christmas concert thing, and I played Surfing with the Alien by Joe Satriani. That was my first.
Everyone else is doing 3 chord Green Day. You're like, nah, fuck this.
Yeah, no, they were actually. It's funny you say that, because the couple of guys that were on before me did Wonderwall by Oasis. That's actually what they did. They had one lad on guitar and another one that was singing. They were playing Wonderwall, and then I came on and did Surfing with the Alien by Joe Satriani, and everyone in the audience was like, "What the hell is going on?" Yeah, it was bizarre, really, but it was good fun.
It's not the first time. It's not the first time you've played on a country song, though, is it? Do you remember you played on one of my songs? Sometimes he doesn't remember.
I don't. Remind me.
I had a song about Instagram. I think it might have been during lockdown or something. I can't even remember. It was during lockdown. And
was that a part of the Perfect Outrage?
No, that was something separate. No,
okay.
I did a song and I sent it to you, and it was very Luke Combsy kind of vibe, actually. And I asked you for like a really bluesy sort of solo to it, so we know it's in your locker. We've got it. But you did one for that. Maybe I'm going to play it for people. I'm going to play it.
I was going to say, because...
And he did one on one of my tracks as well.
He did, yeah.
Yeah. I recall that one. I don't remember the one for
Cheers, Gareth.
Although, no,
good lad, Gaz. Well done.
I'm remembering, from what you're saying, I'm remembering some of the nuances around what you're talking about. I remember the Instagram stuff. And I remember seeing some of the lyrics. I thought it was quite clever. I just don't remember the song as a whole. So I'd be quite keen. Keen to listen to that back, actually.
You should, actually, because I think the guitar tone we used in that actually is something that we could maybe try and look at. So we've got London coming up. So your first gig with us is going to be like this huge country music festival down in London. We've said this before on there, like we've took the mickey out, like we've said, like Jordan and Reese and when we Matt, and these guys had never played to an empty room, and we've joked about it. We've even written a song about it. And we've been really fortunate that we've had great crowds at almost every show we've done. We had one where there weren't too many there, but even that weren't a bad gig, to be fair. But you're coming straight in. You're flying in at the deep end. So how do you deal with how are you going to deal with that, or how do you deal with that? Because a lot of our viewers are actually musicians, so it'd be interesting to hear it.
To me, it's not so much of a big deal, because when I mean Emma will know this, when we sort of play in the other band and stuff like that. When I sort of take to the stage and when it's time for like guitar solos and stuff like that, I don't necessarily play the same thing twice. Yeah, it's what I like to do when playing live is to improvise. And there's a reason behind that. There's a methodology behind that, and that is
you got memory problems.
It's his age.
Thankfully, not yet. No, it's not my age kicking in just yet. There's no Alzheimer's just yet. But what I love about the dynamic about playing live is, and what you can kind of pay a little bit respect to, is that people have taken the time and trouble to actually come and see you there and then for the moment, for the performance that you're doing. If they want to hear you play something, they can listen to the record. What I don't particularly like the idea of doing is then going on stage and playing something which is carbon copy on a record, because you can do that from home.
Yeah.
So if someone's come out and said, right, show me what you can do. I've paid, I've come in, I want to see you play live. I like to do something different because it will give them a memory to take away and think, wow, it's different from the record. Or I didn't quite like it as much as the record. Okay, that's fine. But you've got something to take away from it. Yeah. Or I like that more than the record. I wish that was on the record. Great, because then they might want to come back and see you again because they're wondering what on earth is going to happen next. So, the next time you play the song. So I like the dynamic of doing something a little bit different each time on a live stage. And when you've been doing that for years and years and years, you don't really get intimidated by the idea of having to make it up on the spot because you've been doing it for donkeys anyway. So there's no really intimidation factor to it.
Yeah.
So I kind of relish it. I look forward to it in actual fact. Some things which might strike the fear of God into some people because they like to learn things note for note.
Yeah.
And I used to be like that. I used to like to learn things carbon copy. But with that, you can develop a bit of a freedom because as you learn things like that, you develop your own style and your knowledge increases around the instrument as a whole. You think, oh, I could do this instead, or I could do that, or change this bit, or change that bit. So then you start to factor that into it. So it becomes more of a bit of self-expression, something for you, so you get more enjoyment out of it on the night, and then something for the audience to take away as well.
Absolutely. We've been saying this for a while though, haven't we? We don't like playing the songs live anyway, the same as we do them. And there's often times where, especially when me and Emma play together now, because we've been doing it so long, we've just come off the back of a few acoustic shows and we've played some of the songs differently every time without even pre-planning it. Like one song, I just stopped playing guitar and I just went full a cappella and we just did it. We sang an entire chorus a cappella and then both came back in at the same time. And I think we've developed now almost like a stage telepathy.
Yeah, I think you have. And I think that comes with having played in previous bands, because I know, I'm not going to blow smoke up his ass, but I've learned a lot from playing with Gaz over the years, that because he doesn't do the same solo time after time after time as a singer, if a guitarist is doing like one of our songs is like a 16 bar solo, I can only count to about 8 and then I'd lose concentration. And I've had to, in the past, rely on taking cues from him or taking cues from someone else or hearing something else. And I think that's helped when it comes to you and I, Steve, doing our acoustic stuff, to know there's a head nod, there's a foot stamp, I know something's coming. So I know that's where we're going to take our cue from. And I think that's why when we tell people, when we tell like lads in the band, you've got to listen to each other.
Yeah.
What you're playing is by the by. That's going to come out of the instrument regardless, but you've got to listen to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of times we've done something on stage and Steve has said, one more time, or let's hit the chorus again. And you've got to listen to each other or you get completely lost as to where you are.
Yeah. And again, that just happens with more and more. I mean, if you think about it as a full band, how many gigs are we actually in? Because it's not many.
No, I don't think we're in double digits yet.
No, we're not. And yet, before we even get to double, in fact, I think maybe our double-digit gig
will be the big one in Blackpool.
Will be the big one in Blackpool. That'd be like our 10th gig. Winter Gardens in Blackpool. I mean,
it's all right. It's all good.
It don't get no better than that, does it? Right?
It's the importance of rehearsing and of being well rehearsed. The amount of gigs that I think we've all been to, when you've got to see a band on stage and they say, "Oh, this is only our second gig." You're like, "Yeah, but how much time have you actually spent in the studio?" Because we can tell. You can tell it's your only second gig.
That's just it. I mean, the number of times that we've played gigs in sort of other bands and stuff like that, and it's like we've not been in the studio for sort of 6 or 7 weeks, but then we turn up, we rock up, and we do a performance. And it's bang on point. It's like we've never been out of the studio because we've been so well rehearsed prior to that.
Yeah.
Your cues, you take your cues off each other.
It's important, isn't it?
We can even feel it. We can even feel it in our songs now. The Western songs, the songs that we've been playing a bit longer, everyone is just that little bit more confident with to mess around. If you look at what we've done for Beer on Your Lips, for anyone who's going to come to the gig in London, we've got something a little bit extra now at the end of that song towards the end of the set.
The company that we work with, the company
I think Steve needs to go first on that one.
I think so.
Yeah, the company that we do some of our promotional work with, Country Music Social Media. If you're a country artist, by the way, and you're looking to promote your country music, give these guys a shout because they're brilliant. They've helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
Over the last even just a few months, we've only been with them and tons of radio play, but they're going to be in Blackpool, so we're going to We shall see
Oh,
them there.
wicked.
Yeah, so
Good,
we'll get
good.
to meet them. And we've actually got another couple of artists who are going to be on that show as well. I'm hoping to try and get them on one of these
That'd be nice.
so we can have a chat with them before, because it'd be cool to meet up with them. I like networking, so I come from that kind of background work-wise. As do you,
Schmoozing, some might
Gareth.
say.
Oh, all right. this is live. But yeah, I like to network because it's cool to like try and do different things. We've talked about potentially doing some meeting up and maybe doing some collaborations on the new album and stuff like that. So anyway, on that note, we are working on a new album. We are going to be taking you behind the scenes on as much as everything basically. I've gone on YouTube a number of times and looked up YouTube vloggers for music vloggers, and mostly it's people doing tutorial videos or something like that. And there's an occasional behind the scenes video of a show. What we want to do is not just show you a show. We're trying to take you to every show, take you to rehearsals, take you to the recording sessions, take you through all the writing process. So every time we write something, we're going to record it. Like, I don't think anyone's really given that much access, unless they've sold it to Disney or something. But we're doing that for free. And the reason we want to do it is because we want to hopefully give the audience an understanding of what goes into creating this album and what goes into being in a band. And and hopefully showing growth as we keep moving up these gigs and keep moving on to new things as we go along. Something else I haven't mentioned, but I am also going to be doing little stripped back production, not tutorials as such, but I'm going to open up the project files and actually show people like how I've pieced things together as well. So if you are a songwriter, but maybe you lack some of the technical skills and things like that, then maybe you could watch along with some of those videos and it'll help you write your next song. Yes, there you go. I'll pop that up on the screen. New artist, book a call with Helena. We did an interview with Helena. She's lovely. Again, guys are great, so check them out. What do you, when we start recording this album, have you ever recorded an album before, Gareth?
Yeah, we've done EPs and stuff like that. We've done EPs with Emma. Not in terms of a full album, sort of 10, 12 tracks.
Yeah,
we've
normally.
done like four track EP and stuff like that we've done. It was good process as well. Sometimes it's a little bit different every time, actually, depending on what you do. We've done the layering thing. We've done a bit more of a live stuff. An old band that I was in many moons ago, we went in and did... in actual fact, that was more of an album. There's about 10 tracks on that. To be fair, it's that long ago, I forgot. There's about 10 tracks on that, but we had the time frame to be able to do it because it was recorded live. So as opposed to doing layering, which, a 10-track album would take you weeks to do, arguably, because we all did it live. I was in a separate room because of the guitar solos and stuff. The drummer was in a separate room because of the sound bleed. And the vocalist was like behind the screen. It was weird. It was very disjointed. But we just did the whole album. We did the whole album as a live recording, and it came out all right, to be fair. But you can't get the same nuance as what you can as you do it sort of separate if you do layering. The dynamics there with doing it live, but the sound quality is better when you do it as a layering process.
You also can't get an entire video of outtakes if you do it live.
This is very true. This is very true.
My speciality.
Which is Emma. I was about to say exactly that. That's Emma's speciality. That it is.
Yeah. Oh, for fun. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
She doesn't hold back. We are going to. You're going to be able to see like complete full behind the scenes on this though, because as of July the 1st, we have our own studio space, which is going to be very exciting. Which means we'll be able to record all of the stuff ourselves in a proper studio environment. So we got full use of this place, and it's going to be awesome because we're going to be able to show you everything. It's going to be a really relaxed atmosphere in there as well, so you'll get to see some of the writing and the way me and Emma work, which is a bit unorthodox, but a lot of the times we will write the lyrics. We tend to make some of the music first. I think that's how it's going to probably work. Then we'll all get together in the studio And that's where things like lead guitar are going to go down, and drums and any other little bits and pieces that need redoing, vocals. But what will happen, I guarantee you this, is me and Emma will be writing lyrics as this recording process is happening,
Yeah.
because that's how we like to do things.
That's
like the
normal,
pressure.
that, in my view. That's just, to me, that's completely normal.
Well, normally you would have an idea, I think, of what the song's going to be, and maybe a rough, like, you'd write maybe like a chord structure, and then you would have lyrics written, and then you'd go to the studio and have them half rehearsed, or at least that's how I advise every other band and artist to come to the studio, come rehearsed, and
With
then
something.
if you need to make tweaks, that's fine. I literally mean me and Emma show up usually at the studio with nothing, record the entire from track, start to finish, and then walk out with a finished track. That's pretty much how we've done every song today.
To me, that's not completely unusual. I mean, take Run, for example. When we recorded Run with the other band, and we had to do the guitar solo for that.
Yeah,
that was in one take. I had nothing
I remember that.
preconditioned. There was nothing in mind that I was going to do.
I think
we sent everyone else out to go for lunch because I thought I'm maybe going to need about 3 or 4 takes here. Sat down, hit record, first take. That was it. Bosh, done.
I remember doing that.
Yeah, that was it. It was
doing
done.
that and just turning round to you and just going, "That's the one."
Yeah, that was it. And it was first take, and it was all just made up on the spot. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily completely unheard of. Even with lyrics, to just come up with something on the spot, and it still fits. You know,
we like doing it like that though, because we feel like it's more of a challenge. It's just, I mean, like I said, when I used to do all my old stuff, I would come to the studio and I know the song backwards by the time I record it, because it's not just that. You've got to actually learn how to sing it. And with this band, we've also got to learn the harmonies as well, which makes it a little bit more difficult. But like The Weeknd now, I feel now like things are just starting to fall into place a little bit better now. Like, we went there, didn't rehearse, had 8 new songs that we learned that morning. You popped around my house, we had a quick 30 minutes. We sort of making up the harmonies on the fly, and it went really well. I mean, it was perfect.
Emma's good at that, though. Emma's good at that. Not to blow smoke up her arse, but Emma's good at that, because when we've been recording previously, that she's got to harmonise with herself. There's no practice beforehand. She just goes in, she just does it, and it's on point.
But it's been good for me as well.
All right, flick your hair. Go on. That's it.
It's been good for me because now I'm starting to be able to do it, and I couldn't before. I was god awful at doing harmonies. It used to
struggle a smidge, didn't you?
Yeah, it took me ages to get used to just hearing someone else's voice singing what I'm singing, but they're singing it and I kept wanting to follow what you was doing. But now I've sort of developed my own technique for doing it now, which is why I kind of have to be playing guitar as I do it, because that's how I do it. What I do now is I actually just listen to the root note of what I'm playing, and I follow that.
Ignores me entirely.
And I ignore
best way, Emma.
Always best. Ignore her. She doesn't know what she's doing, where she's going.
She's on her own.
Yeah, I completely ignore Emma, and I just try to block her voice out, and I just think if I just sing and I do that correctly, whatever Emma's doing should be fine.
Yeah,
it should work, and it seems to work for us anyway. That's the main thing. Right. Finishing up, what was I going to say? Yes, we got a new single out on the 4th of August. We have got a single out now that's out right now. Guys, go and give it some love. Broken Every Heart. It's up on YouTube. It's up on.
Breaks my heart every time we sing it. It's a
hard song.
In terms of the delivery, this one is quite taxing.
Yeah,
I can throw a solo in there though now to give you a bit of a breather in between. So
yes, please.
There is that, you know.
This was the one that nearly broke me in the studio when we recorded this.
Yeah. We spoke about this a few times. It's almost like a case of like PTSD. Like with Emma, we have to have like counsel sessions, don't we? Like where we sit her down, put an arm around her, and just
it'll be okay.
It'll be okay. But what a great recording it ended up being. So we've redid the vocals on this next track. The thing with this next track, but just backstory on this one a little bit, is I wrote this song I'm getting on for 10 years ago. It hits me hard, and I've wrote it and I've tried to do it. Oh, look at that. Oh, Ken, it's your wedding anniversary on the 4th of August. Ken,
you're welcome, Ken.
Ken, this song is a very heartbreaky type song. So please don't get divorced. Stay together.
Not one for a wedding anniversary.
No, it's not. But yeah, so I wrote this song about 10 years ago, and it's easily been my favorite song that I've personally ever written. And I've tried to release it about 6 times, and every time I've took it down immediately. I'm like, no, it's not good enough. It's not right. I tried it with other singers. I knew it was always meant to be a duet. It had to be. Because I remember listening to a song by Kid Rock and Sheryl Crow called Picture. And it kind of came from listening to that song, the idea for this one. And nothing ever quite felt right. So, I knew that this song, or for me anyway, I've always felt that this, normally when I write a song, I go, oh, I hope people enjoy that. We'll put it out and see how it does. This song, for some reason, has been the one I've been most nervous about releasing. And it's probably just because I've built it up in my own head now for nearly 10 years. Because I genuinely think that this is, and I'm going to give it the kiss of death now, but I think this is the one that does something. In my opinion, I think it could do something. I just think, and the reason I think that has nothing to do with my songwriting, it was actually more to do with the performance and the delivery. So Mike Krampus, with the recording, obviously did all the music stuff for it. So he's played all the instruments on it. He's done this massive production. It sounds huge. So that brilliant straight off. But soon as Emma sang this song with me, we were sitting in the studio, wasn't we? We did it acoustically. And as soon as we did it together, I was like, nah, this is the version of the song that has to be recorded.
Yeah.
And now I've got it done. I cannot wait for it to come out. It's a big ballad song. It's probably going to be Gareth's least favourite.
No, when I've finished with it, it won't be. Be unrecognisable.
Distortion on 11.
Be like roadkill.
Oh my God, look at this. Helena Mace released Breaking Up Ain't Easy on the 4th of August a few years ago. Maybe 4th of August is the breakup day.
Maybe.
National Breakup Day. Maybe should we make that a thing?
Shall we?
No, let's not. Let's not do
Yeah,
that.
but Ken's bucking the trend with that, so that's all good. He's setting the record straight. So
yeah, Ken. Don't do anything silly, Ken. All right. Guys, I think that about wraps us up for today. Anyway, we wanted to introduce you all to Gareth. One day we'll get one of the Laurel and Hardy on here at some point.
L'Oreal and Hardy.
Oh man, trying to get them to. I've been trying to get them to on this on this thing now since we started the band. So we need to get up. We need to get them on here and introduce you before we start doing these big shows, so you get to know who they all are. But yeah, we all have special nicknames. We won't go into them. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for those people that watch this afterwards, which is usually the case. We will see you again very soon.